Welcome back. It's all about sparking career interest in young people. Employees at companies and organizations across Boston are sharing how they chose their career paths, what makes them excited about their work, and giving a meaningful, memorable experience to middle school students. Almost everyone remembers their first job. Maybe it was babysitting, mowing lawns, or running errands for a family friend.
My first job was at Aeropostale as a sales person and a greeter in 42nd Street, New York. So a lot of different kinds of people throughout the doors, and it was so fun.
If it wasn't babysitting my little brother, first would have been working in a packaging manufacturing plant in Tucson, Arizona. So making corrugated boxes and foam and die cutting stuff. And I liked that job. It was a pretty sweet gig as like a 15-year-old making like $9.75 an hour. Like in Tucson, that was sick.
Jomaris Solano, a program coordinator for Apprentice Learning, and Matt MacArthur, the founder and executive director of The Record Co., are on a mission to give the same positive experience to this group as they had at their first job. The girls are taking part in City Summer Internship, one of the programs run by Boston-based nonprofit Apprentice Learning. The Learn to Earn model means the students are paid to participate in a program that introduces them to the world of work and careers.
It's mainly focused for female-identifying individuals is because in the real world there are some industries in which women are underrepresented. So we want to ensure that when they hit those places, they are seen, they are heard, and they know that they can leave their mark wherever they go.
During the 5-week program, students will visit companies representing a range of industries, from law to architecture. Between visits, they'll work on personal development plans and learn essential skills for success when they fully enter the workforce. On this day, they are learning about the behind-the-scenes work that goes into music production.
Welcome to The Record Co. This is there's a couple different ways we refer to it. This is a community music workspace, meaning it's a space, you guessed it, where people who make music create work, and it's open to anyone in the community. Not just the opportunity for a young person to see the space, but to see people who are actually using it and start imagining themselves in the space and what that would look like. It's a joy to see the kind of wide-eyed, not just, oh, it was very exciting, I was in a recording studio today, but also the wide eyes that you see when they start talking to people who actually do this for a living, and recognizing that although it's not as straightforward of a career path as some, it is a very rewarding one, and it's possible.
The hands-on portion of the day has arrived, and the girls are creating their own song.
Are you ready to try and record something?
There's a lot of shyness and hesitation in the room, but also a lot of encouragement to participate musically, or by asking questions about the process of building their own unique collective sound.
We have 3 main values, which is courage ready, community ready, and work ready. And basically courage ready is just practicing how to be brave and how to use that inner voice and learn how to advocate for themselves. Community ready is them being aware of their surroundings and the people they are around, so making sure that they are kind, respectful, and remain in tune with themselves and others. And then work ready, and that ties in with being a professional, being able to advocate for yourself in these places.
While the process of preparing, applying, and having the skills for a new job can be daunting at any age, the students at Apprentice Learning are getting the support they need for future success in their first job and beyond. And joining us now is Letta Neely. She's Executive Director of Apprentice Learning, and McGuire Dal Porto, Apprentice Learning Board Member from GMO, an investment management firm headquartered in Boston. So Letta, we just got a glimpse of a one-day experience in your program. Tell us how you're working with middle school students throughout the school year.
Okay, so throughout the school year, we work with the middle grade, 8th grade in particular, and if we're in a school, we work with their entire 8th grade class. They receive 6 workshops during the school day around their self-efficacy, around learning how to advocate for themselves, what is being work ready, courage ready, and community ready, as you heard one of our employees say. And then they get to pick from a list of apprenticeships about where they might like to go that aligns with their current passion. They're 8th graders, so their passions are going to run the gamut and to continue to. Our feeling is that if they get to see it
and be exposed to it,
then possibly they will get to be it, right? It's more likely they're practicing that muscle of their imagination.
Do you think it's challenging, has it been challenging to find businesses that are willing to host a middle school student for an apprenticeship?
Initially, yes, sometimes, right? Because they're middle grade students and people have these perceptions about who young middle school students are, and they don't necessarily recognize yet that they're already mathematicians and astronauts and budding just amazing people. However, once you have a general conversation with someone, with an employer, and you let them know that we will help them along the way, they're much more open to it because it's a low lift. It's 2 hours for 6 weeks, once a week.
McGuire, how did GMO get involved in apprentice learning, and what do you see as the value of participating in this program to your employees and your company?
Sure. So we first got involved with apprentice learning in 2019. We started off somewhat small in that we did it was during the pandemic. It was a Zoom apprenticeship where we met with a cohort of students. We've been involved in a number of ways, whether it's their city summer internship with focuses on rising young 9th grade women, as well as bringing in cohorts of apprentices at GMO of 5 students where we work with them once a week in the spring and fall. We also spent, I've spent time one-on-one with individuals. We had a young Trinidadian immigrant come in, and he and I literally just talked for 2 hours a week about the bond market, and we pulled up prices and looked at interest rates.
Let me ask you, how do you teach middle school students about the bond market, asset management, investing? I mean, those are sometimes hard concepts for adults to grasp.
They are very hard concepts. You know, these young minds are ready to be adults. They're ready to start making those decisions, and you're giving them an opportunity to leave school and actively learn, and they are very excited. They're happy to be there. Even a simple building tour is exciting to them. When you move into the more complicated concepts, sometimes you have to dial it back. Sometimes you can go to more advanced concepts. It's you just kind of take it as they're ready to consume it.
You know, coming to an office like yours downtown could be intimidating for some young people, for some students. How does apprentice learning, McGuire, help the students support coming out of their communities into the world of work?
Well, they work with the students in their school and the place where they're comfortable. They work with them about being courage ready, being confident. When they come to GMO, they are excited. They have questions ready. It's amazing. We thought we'd have to do a lot more coaxing to get them to participate. At one point, we couldn't stop them from asking questions, and
That's great.
It was terrific.
I would imagine your employees feel fulfilled being a part of this program as well.
Absolutely. We have, right now we have 45 active participants that are dying to be a part of the program. We're very fortunate in that way, but you can do it on a very small scale as well as a large scale. If you want to try something out with just one-on-one, we're happy to share our template of success. You know, we've got presentations, templates, calendars of how to go about it. Please reach out. We're happy to help other companies and organizations get started with their own apprentices.
Okay, so the organization is 10 years old, and at this point, I'm assuming that many of the program participants have gone on to college and the workforce full-time. Any success stories or a success story you can share with us as we close out the segment?
Yes, we had a young woman, Chantel, who was apprenticing at one of the hospitals, and she is now in a program to become a nurse. And we have another young woman that was an apprentice with us for quite some time, and we just ran into her. She's in her 2nd year of law school. And those are the success stories that everybody wants to hear, right? Because they are in the job and the working world. The other real success story for me is that every person that we've interfaced with, every 8th grader who is now gone on, they can look you in the eye and they can say their name and they can say who they are and what they're passionate about, and they're walking the world with their own agency.
Okay, that's great. Letta Neely and McGuire Del Porto, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Up next, a program immersing Worcester students in careers in the mental health field. We'll be right back.